good evening, TDN listeners, and especially my fans and my audience on This Week in Interview. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Interview with your host and guide, Anthony Drago. Now, folks, it's Wednesday, the highlight of my week because I get to spend some time with you. So, you who come back every Wednesday, my regular listeners, welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you. I don't take you for granted. The fact that you make this weekend interview part of your weekly schedule when there is so much additional stuff going on to grab your interest. I just so appreciate you being part of this weekend interview. If tonight is the first time that you listen to this weekend interview, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. I hope you like what you hear sufficiently that you too will become a regular listener to this weekend interview. If you're listening to us in Dominica, probably through DigiPlay channel 59 on RVR Jams, welcome to you. And of course, we always want to say that we appreciate the management of RVR Jams collaborating with us. Also, in the Toronto market, online radio SBE also carries this week in interview live. So good night to you as well. And no matter where you're listening to us from, whether you're in North America, you are on the Nature Isle, UK, all the islands in the Caribbean. We have folks in Trinidad, in St. Vincent, in St. Lucia, in Grenada. Good night to you. Before I forget, the very special birthday greetings to Queen Ella. I wish you a wonderful year. Um, Today being your birthday, so uh, enjoy and set some high goals as you always do, and I wish you all the energy and ambition to achieve them. Tonight we are focusing on health. Uh, I have a special guest, Miss Kerry Ann Joseph McLean, and she's going to be joining me in a little while, a little later. Um, but she is a healthier lifestyle entrepreneur. That's the brand that she has developed, and that's the passion that she has discovered and is pursuing with full vigor. And you know, there are a few areas that we like to target on this speaking interview, and health is right there at the top of the list because, in addition to trying to make you the most informed audience in social media, we want you to be healthy as well, so that when we juggle, when we jig your brain, and you decide what action you want to take, you have the energy and you have the vigor to take that action. Yesterday was Earth Day. I hope you recommitted yourself to the protection of our planet, environmentally and otherwise. Plant a tree if you can, or just walk with a bag so you can put your trash and you don't toss it somewhere where it will end up in the ocean, end up in our food, end up causing harm to lifestyle. That tree that you were thinking of cutting, try to see if you can save it. Uh, is there an alternative to cutting a tree? In Dominica, and those of you, then you also know about my passion for water. On Earth Day, I hope you paused a little bit and showed the appreciation for the abundance of fresh water that we have in Dominica, and double your commitment to participate in the protection of our rivers. So much activity going on in our rivers. I just saw a video of somebody with a concrete truck. I guess after a pump truck, after they did their work, they went to the river and was washing out concrete directly into the river. And I mean, it felt so disrespectful because right where they're doing it, the water is so pristine and so clear. And who would think that that is where you would choose to go wash your concrete truck? And so let's show a little bit more of respect and appreciation for the earth. Yesterday being Earth Day. Mark it on your calendar, folks. Every April 22nd is Earth Day. So if you did not know or it caught you by surprise, let's plan to do something significant next year to mark and recognize International Earth Day. We also have some other dates coming up that as they get closer, we will work on World Rivers Day, World Water Day, and those actors World Soil Day. So we're huge on the environment because it is linked directly to our wellness and our well-being. The quality of our food depends on the quality of our environment. The quality of our lives depend on the quality of our food. And of course, clean air and clean water, particularly in areas of the Caribbean in Dominica where we may not have robust clean water legislature, and clean air legislature. It depends on us to to take the action, to learn about those ecosystem, our rivers, our forest, our trees, our soil, that took millions of years to develop. Let's make sure that our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren have the opportunity to enjoy those endowments as we do. All right, so we climb down just a little bit, one step from my soapbox, and launch into what we are here to do tonight, what brings this conversation on tonight. As I said to you earlier, my guest tonight is Miss Carrie Ann Joseph McLean, and she is going to be an interesting conversation. She's one of those folks who decided that she had one career, she achieved what she achieved, and wanted a second bite at the apple, so to speak, and decided to pursue a different path. And she seems to have flung herself into it full body and full throated. And she is here with us tonight in her capacity as a mentor, a coach, a healthier lifestyle entrepreneur, she calls herself. So let's without too much further ado, we'll welcome her. We'll play a little bit of an introductory video to help introduce her to you and to let you know and see the lady that we are going to be spending an hour with. So let's listen to this video.
Carrie Ann spent over 2 decades in a stable corporate career but began feeling disconnected from her values. Wanting to pursue her passion for health and wellness and live a life of significance, she transitioned into entrepreneurship to make a meaningful impact and build a business aligned with her goals. During this shift, she also empowered others as a mentor and coach. She co-authored Stronger Resilience, an Amazon bestseller, to inspire others to share their stories and embrace their strength. With a keen eye for detail, Carrie Ann launched Kimmy by Design in 2020, offering decor, event design, and coordination services. Carrie Ann is a woman of faith, resilience, and purpose, committed to uplifting others through her work in leadership. She embraces every challenge as a stepping stone to growth and remains steadfast in her mission to inspire, empower, and create lasting impact. Her journey is a testament to the power of courage, perseverance, and living a life aligned with one's true calling.
All right, Carrie, and welcome to this speaking interview. It's a pleasure to have you. I
Thank you,
appreciate you making
Michael.
the time to be with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and this platform that you have that's impacting lives in different ways. So whether it's your music, word, song, whatever it is that you do, I pray that you will continue to thrive.
Thank you very much. And you know, what you do is right down our alley because our aim is to have our audience be the most informed audience. We try to take contemporary topics, but bring it from a different angle that you may not see on TV or like scrolling Facebook and that sort of thing. We refuse to be another Me Too thing out there on social media. And so, one of the areas that we like to work with is the health of our audience. We always encourage folks to take control of their health and not just for the sake of that, but so that it can influence the quality of their life. And so when I became familiar with your work, I was pretty excited about what you do. So as we start the conversation, your the intro video said that you did the corporate thing. You worked in corporate America. You had a job. You call it stable. I interpreting that to mean pretty successful and long lasting. And so tell us about that. What field was it in?
I worked in project management and IT with a telecommunications company almost 2 decades. And it was quite fulfilling on the actual workload. But for me, it wasn't, I felt that there was a calling beyond the
Mhm.
corporate board, beyond trying to, everyone's striving for the same thing to get up the corporate ladder. For me, it was very taxing.
Right.
And, for me, it was knowing that you want to do something to impact lives in a different way without having to sort of drift away from the things that you know, in a sense of when you have a calling, you have to step out of your comfort zone, or you're either kicked out of your comfort zone or you step out of your comfort zone. So this is how I'm just going to bring God in the conversation here. God either kicks you out of the comfort zone, or you actually you step out in faith, right? So for me, working those almost 20 years in that company, I learned a lot. And so I
Mhm.
was able to get up to different levels in my career, different that path, which I enjoyed. And at that time, there was a huge transition. So I like to say that my employer divorced me and gave me a package, so to speak. So
Got
I got
alimony.
alimony, right? So that happened, and in the process of all of that, I saw the writing on the wall. And in every step of your life, you have to give thanks. So whether it's that I've been transitioned out of your job, you're getting a job, you're getting a different stage in your life, I gave thanks because that almost 2 decades, it provided me with a livelihood. But the transition happened when prior to that, because I had an aunt who was terminally ill with two terminal illnesses, and her thing was, I want to retire and then enjoy my life, but she didn't get to enjoy her retirement. She was diagnosed at 65 and died 2 years later. So she had Pick's disease, which is a form of dementia, and she had ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. And if you know and study, Pick's disease is not very common in Black people. It's mostly in European white males back then. So
Wow.
that's sort of my journey on wanting to know more about health and to being proactive, especially in women, not even not men, but to sort of understand how stress can impact the body,
Mhm.
internalizing and not having an outlet, not taking care of yourself, even though you're focusing on your family, and not balancing your life, mind, body, and spirit. And so that
Right.
took me to this day, almost 12 years later, just sort of transitioning into a healthier lifestyle uh, entrepreneur. And in the process, became a mentor and coach to many, especially with our business. But beyond that, a lot of opportunities came where I was invited to be a co-author in a book, and which is what you mentioned, Stronger Resilience. And it's funny, when things happen, it's never the right timing in our eyes, but there's always perfect timing in everything that we do once you make that decision. So for me, at this stage in
Okay.
my life, or this chapter, I should say, in my life, or season in my life, the ability to be a source of contribution to others, to have an impact on others through health and wellness, is what is my driving force, or one of my driving force.
Right. Right. So you talk about driving force. You talk about comfort zone. So were you always someone who paid attention to fitness and wellness, and were you a gym person? What tell us?
I started off, yeah, actually, I have to say this. I grew up in Dominica in the north side as well. So I went to
Mhm.
St. Andrews, even though for those of you who remember, St. Andrews is no longer there.
Mhm.
But before that, I lived in Antigua. So I always did track and field, always
Oh, you were
as
an
a kid,
athlete. Okay.
from 11 onwards, and then played netball for 25 years, trying to be mindful. I became a gym rat at some point. And of course, things happen. And then my mother got very ill, and unfortunately, she passed away 2 years ago. And I took a hiatus to take care of her for those 2 years at home.
Condolences to
Thank you,
you and
thank
your
you.
family. Mhm.
Thank you. So for me, learning to be a caregiver for my mom because I didn't want to put her in a home. That wasn't a topic. That wasn't a decision. The
Mm-hmm.
decision was to
Mm-hmm.
stay, at home, take care of her, and she was bedridden for some time. And so all of that for me, I see the mercy and grace and mercy because I had the opportunity to take care of her because of what happened with the transition. But prior to
Right.
that, now sort of sharing and educating people on wellness to be proactive is sort of creating a new legacy. That's the theme I'm going with. You're creating a new legacy by creating a path to a healthier lifestyle. Because when you create a legacy, you actually can carry it on for many generations to come. It's just like how you teach your children how to fend for themselves, to go to school, to do chores, to take care of themselves financially, different ways. Creating a legacy through health. Once you have health, you have everything else. Everything else to me is gravy. But if you
Right.
find that you have gained the world and lost your health, what good would it do you and your family? So, death is no respecter of anyone. Death is going to come, just like tax. You can't avoid it. But how you live up until you're called home, you transition to the next, onto the next, beyond your flesh. You have to be able to say, okay, how can I be as mindful, practicing positivity and mindfulness in my everyday choices that I take? Now, is it going to be where you're always at your best, in your choices every day? No, but at least you're making the first step. Every day you take a step towards the healthiest and best version of yourself. Because when you can elevate yourself, mind, body, and spirit, you find you have more clear thoughts. You find that you're able to have more energy to be able to do things because you're making the right choices. So I call that the upward spiral. So your mind, body, spirit connected, you're in alignment. And then there's a downward spiral where you are thinking negative thoughts, depression, anxiety, stress, making wrong choices or lack thereof in the way of what you eat. I call that comfort food, right? Or comfort snacks. And then you choose not to be as mobile because your brain, your gut, your whole body is not in alignment. And that can happen from
Okay.
time to time, right?
Right. Let's okay. We You spent almost 20 years as a project manager in an IT company, and then you now 12 years ago decided that you were going to transition to something else, and wellness seemed to fit because that was also going on in your personal life where you had to provide personal care
Correct.
for
And that's
both your
purely
mom
by
and,
accident. And that was purely by accident, by the way. And I'll share that with you in
well,
a bit.
right. So what where I was going to start was when you talk about lifestyle, because you say you're a healthier lifestyle entrepreneur. How do you break down lifestyle in quality of life? But what are the
Mhm.
components of lifestyle that we should be? Because sometimes we're walking around just unaware that well, this country I can walk. I woke up this morning and I walked to my car, and I was mentally well enough that I could drive to work, and all my bodily functions work, and that sort of thing. But so we take it for granted because it happens so naturally. It's like breathing. We take air for granted
Exactly.
until one of these days,
Exactly.
God
Yeah.
forbid, we get a
Mm-hmm.
respiratory illness. So
Mm-hmm.
so let's see if you can just make the audience aware of the things that make up lifestyle and components and how they should be thinking about it, how they should be. Yeah, let's just talk about lifestyle.
Sure. So thanks for that. So that's a great way to approach it and the way of how to start that conversation. The first thing is to be mindful. A lot of us, we are so bombarded with external stimulation, like social media. We tend to compare ourselves to what we should be and what we shouldn't be. And so we sort of go through life or the day to day like a zombie mentality, so to speak. So we sort of zone out. So you're observing the world, but not observing yourself. It's easier to look out, look at media, social media, look at news, and start having that conversation about what's happening in the world. And you may have healthy or unhealthy conversations around what you're actually listening to. And there's a term I like to say is guard your heart and guard your mind. not just from gossip or conversations that you're hearing or you're part of, but guarding your heart and your mind from the toxic things that are coming at you. Because most of our brain, that's about 90% negative, 95% negative, as studies will show, right? But one of the things I say to you, the first step is to be mindful and to be observant of how your body, mind, spirit is feeling. Sometimes you might say, "Oh, I feel off. I don't feel quite right. I can't put my finger on it." But if you pay attention to the signs of things that are happening to you, there's a friend of mine who is here in Mississauga, because I'm actually in Toronto, Canada. But he talks about a couple of things, and one is if you can reconnect yourself with how you are feeling, being observant of how you're feeling by simply journaling. At least for a few days, just to see what you're eating, how you're feeling, your mood throughout the day. Don't have to be as meticulous, but at least you're keeping track of it. And you're observing how you're feeling from day to day. You find you might feel anxious or stressful. You might find that you're getting angry at people around you. So that's practicing mindfulness. And then making healthy choices along the day. So like practicing what you're doing in the way of your walks. Like you said, you walk, right? You do your walks from, to and from certain locations, right? So if you can say, okay, how can I implement some type of walking or exercise at least once or twice or three times a week, and you track it, you reward yourself. So you can put like a system. I have this thing I do, which is like a 21-day reset. There's a mindset reset. So I sort of like, okay, I haven't been doing these things consistently. Let me reset. And the first thing would be let's say go for a walk, carve out the time, and you can even have it in your calendar. So, for example, if I know I have a full schedule of what I have to do, I put me in that agenda. Most of us leave ourselves out of that to-do list. We take care of mom, dad, children, hubby, your wife, or sibling, and we forget ourselves. We leave ourselves for last. So if you can do a reset, we are thinking, okay, how can I make conscious decisions of what I eat every day by prepping my meals or planning my meals for the week and my family, instead of buying things around the corner in from the store, like on the go. If you can take walks or run or get a group of people just to sort of get the reset button going. And then you can maybe have like an accountability partner, accountability person. I'll tell you this much. I used to do walking from here to another town, 6 miles, 3 miles to go, 3 miles to come back. And it would take me about 2 hours. And so I would plug in my headset, I listen to audiobooks, personal development books for myself. So I'm feeding my mind. And I'm walking, so I'm feeding my body. And so I'm doing my breathing exercise. So these are things you can actually do step by step by step if you're inclined to do that. If you don't want to do that because the brain's thinking of, I have another task to do, but you can start somewhere. So if you start off that way, then you will be inspired to make healthier choices. And I found this. If I go for a walk and I get home, I'm not going to grab the chocolate bar. I'm going to grab some salad because I'm feeling good. I can consume things that help my body internally. So that way, as you're paying attention to how you're eating, how you're thinking, how you're talking, how you're pooping, how all of these things, then you can know, okay, I'm getting my body, to one step closer to being the highest and best version of myself, which starts with step one. Then, you track it. If you track it, then you're accountable for yourself. And I mentioned to you, I used to walk, 3 miles one way and 3 miles
Right.
another way.
Mhm.
Facebook was my accountability partner. So I tend to be a loner sometimes. So I'll go on my stories and I'll just post, not to brag, to say, okay, I did 6 miles today night. I would take a screen capture of my tracker to show my path I took. And
Mhm.
of course, you have to be a woman. You have to be safe because you don't want to show your exact location, right? So I did that for 4 years. But how did I do that? I started off around the school track, walking 30 minutes. And by doing that and making healthier choice, I lost 40 pounds. And was I looking to lose
Wow.
weight? No, I just wanted to have self-care. I called it self-care time. So
Mhm.
everything I post was about self-care. And so that way, that's how I was able to reset my mind. So that could be something someone can do. And if they don't want to post on Facebook, they can do with a friend, a WhatsApp group. Be creative, because you can be resourceful and creative when you're thinking about a healthier lifestyle.
Right. And so the first part you said was being mindful, and
Mm.
by being mindful, you sort of touched on all the other aspects: what you eat, how you sleep, what you drink, how you do your bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
functions,
Mm-hmm.
how often you bathe, how you take care of yourself, basically,
Correct. Mhm.
which includes eating, because that is what should be our priority right now. Now you mentioned you brought God in, and so I assume that means, well, I shouldn't assume, but Christianity is
I am a Christian, yes.
you're a Christian, and so
Yes.
some folks have a, especially Christians have a little bit of a conflict because they sort of think that if you put yourself first, if you look out for yourself too much, you're
Mhm.
being selfish. And how do you resolve your Christian belief or the following of the doctrines of the Christian faith, but also understanding that part of that is in fact taking care of yourself.
So the first thing that I know that, this is our temple. This is the vessel. And God, if we pour into others, right, this is depleted. It's like an emotional bank account, right? So if you're actually, you're sort of resetting yourself, you got to treat your temple right whilst you're here on earth, right? It's your flesh, but it's your temple. So if you have a vessel that's sort of empty, how can you be that person that you can counsel, you can talk, you can uplift others through the word?
Right.
Because you're depleted. The other part too is that I've learned along my life journey is that self-care is not selfish. And that actually stems from people trying to make you feel guilty. Because once you're connected and your intuition guides you, which is God, to eat right, sleep right, meditate, do what you have to do, you get that inner guidance. This is God speaking to you in whispers because he didn't talk to you loud. May come to you in a song, a conversation, a little, picture, something like that. But then you have external voices who are like your family or your friends. And as soon as you make that shift, that change, then everyone wants your attention. So the words may come in from someone who's closest to you. And you may say, well, you're not paying, you don't have time for me anymore. You sort of focusing on yourself. And so that guilt comes on. And there's something called mommy guilt, where you take care of yourself, and then you have this guilt because you're not giving the time to your children, especially if they're underage, right? And then you have sometimes you have like a single mom, single dad, or a whole family unit. So there's challenges there where you need to take care of yourself. Now, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others? So
Right.
for me, if you treat yourself as a temple, which you're supposed to, that means you're eating the right things, you're giving it the right things instead of the things that are not good for you. You're thinking the right thoughts. You're aligning yourself, you're reading the word, you're practicing it every single day. Then self-care comes in many ways. What you think, what you speak, how you act, how you carry yourself. You have to carry yourself in a specific way that people see that God resides within you. So if you don't have proper hygiene, if you don't take care of yourself in what you eat, if you don't speak right in a way that is aligned with what who your creator is, those are not health conscious steps that you're taking. So for me, if you read the word, you study the word, and you align yourself with what God is saying to you through when you're reading your Bible, then you know that God wants you to move in a way that you keep yourself healthy, mind, body, spirit. You know, three, Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if
Mind.
if your mind, body, spirit is disconnected, then you're off balance. Everything is a balancing act in your body. You have too much acidity in your body's out of alignment. So that's where dis-ease, this disease form. Your body's highly stressed, so you're not balanced. Everything is a balance. And sometimes if you're out of balance, out of proportion, then you find yourself getting sick more often than you'd like. And we tend to internalize a lot of stuff, especially when men are told not to show their emotions. Don't cry. So you have it bottled in. Then you get sick. So there's certain things like, for example, we do a health talk every Tuesday. We started this in 2025 in January, and
Who is
we
we?
have different topics. We, as in myself and my husband, Cornell McLean. So I'm the host. So I
Okay.
do a presentation. So my husband and I have been married for 15 plus years, and been together for 17 years. So my best friend, my confidant, and so he's an honorary Dominican. I call him that because he did travel, and he's telling everyone he showed me Dominica. I said, okay, right, but
Might be true, right?
yeah.
Depending on what age
So
you left Dominica, probably didn't get a chance to explore it as much as you could
oh,
have,
I
right?
know all of Dominique. He went there one time. That's okay. I tell
Oh,
everyone
really?
yeah, he can pronounce the villages and the parishes now, so it's good. And
So it's
he can
good. All
pronounce
right.
he can pronounce the city too.
You can say
But
Roseau.
yeah, he fell in
Roseau.
love. He said Rousseau, whatnot. He went there one time. And he has everything down to a pack with pronunciation, so he's good. But
So you guys have a you say an online is it like a
yeah,
podcast or
yeah, it's a Zoom. So it's a Zoom, a free Zoom health talk we do every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For
okay?
example, we've covered topics like cancer, breast cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, epilepsy, lupus, fibromyalgia. We've spoken about, for example, epilepsy and convulsions. So all of these things of ways of how you can improve the symptoms and signs of these conditions over time. And I also spoke on menopause, and there's something called andropause, which is the male version of menopause, which if
What
you haven't heard of
stick a
that.
pin there for a minute, folks. There's a QR code. There's a QR code on the screen, and I'm assuming that if you scan that QR code, you will get the link to the podcast. Is that what it is? Or should I
There's a link
scan?
to yeah. There's a link to our website and other information there, as
Mhm.
also some articles that were written about us. And so you could also send a message through me through there. On my website has a
I'm
way
actually
to connect.
scanning it right now. Let's see.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, I see you and your her husband. Healthier lifestyle, discover wellness. Okay,
Yes.
and so it's every. So folks, go ahead and scan it.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? Was
So
healthier
the
lifestyle,
actual
discover
it has
wellness.
your lifestyle. So you can actually visit my YouTube page, and I have all the recorded Zoom presentations I've done so far. And
Hmm.
in the description, the link is here to register for the Zoom call, and it's
Okay, great.
a free invite
And it's every Tuesday at 7
at 7
p.m.
p.m.
Eastern
Yeah,
Standard
so
Time.
the
And
exactly, yeah. And
mhm,
this Tuesday we're speaking on asthma and allergies and how you can improve that
asthma
as
and
well.
allergies. Yeah, there's a lot of folks
Yeah.
who are suffering right now as
Yes.
spring gets into full force and the
Hmm.
pollen is starting to come. Folks are
Yeah, and
suffering. So
sometimes
yeah,
yeah, environment, medication, all sort of things that can trigger it, right?
right.
But
And
what?
I always find it strange that we grew up in Dominica among all the trees,
Hmm.
365 days, and nobody in Dominica. Maybe some people did, and we just didn't know that's what it was. But allergies is
True.
not a thing
Big thing. Yeah.
that was in our consciousness.
Yeah, there's a lot of toxins in the environment that can trigger these things. So environment is not the same for every country. So our bodies tend to acclimatize to the country that we're in, and some can handle it better than others. I suffered from allergies for about 21 years. I thought, okay, the first year I came here, why am I catching a cold so often? I'm healthy, you know. My mother gave me cod liver oil and vitamin C every day, and Ribena every day
Hmm.
as a kid. So I never got sick. And then I come up here, and I have like the first 2 years, I'm like sneezing, my voice changed, and so the actual what I want to share with you is that through the company that I'm affiliated with, we
Hmm.
partnered with, it's a Canadian company. So we linked arm from being a customer and of trying to find out what actually this superfood, because actually we promote a superfood that's infused into everyday consumable items that helps with support your immune system. And so we also have the national product number with Health Canada, which is very strict on giving NPN numbers out. And so it's 100% certified organic. And that's what we are promoting in the sense of well-being and healthier lifestyle, because most of us will eat food and the soil is fully depleted. Or we have a GMO products that we're eating that we're not getting the right nutrients. So if we're eating foods that we get for a source for energy, what can you do to support your immune system? in a way of having it not overactive, underactive, and to also be aware of other things that can help you in your wellness journey. And so for us, we know back home, about things like soursop leaf, guava leaf, all type of things that we would have from our grandparents that taught us, right? And some of them have side effects because you can actually have an adverse negative reaction if you're taking medication with natural remedies without knowing the impact. So
Right.
the reason I say that with my mother, when she had a second stroke from diabetic related, I know she's taking, for example, a beta block for her heart. They check her heart to make sure she's okay. So I went to the store. I know turmeric is good for you. I know ginkgo biloba is good for you, but then the doctors may not know the negative interaction, right? So the pharmacists, they started natural medicine. So I asked, can I give her this with this medication? They go, no, you can't, because her medication will not be as effective. So anything you're taking in the way of like pharmaceuticals, which, there's a necessity for it to some point, they can develop toxins in your body, can have impact with your organs. For someone who's diabetic, you can have kidney failure, kidney damage because the medication might not filter properly, right? So in her case, I knew, okay, I can't give her that. But what I'm sharing here on the platform with our health talk, it actually is a mushroom, not the hallucinating kind, but the medicinal food supplement kind. So around the world, there's over 3,000 plus case studies from doctors and pharmacists. All doctors have done studies on this particular mushroom, which is called a superfood. And so we know things like spirulina, ginseng. We've heard of these things, right? So that's actually on the chain of all the medicinal food. That's actually number one on the planet for now that they've discovered. So for me, the reason why I'm so passionate about that is that when my aunt passed away after her two terminal illness, we took her within 2 years. We didn't know what we didn't know. I did research, stem cell, all these things, because for one, she's a Black female, and they didn't know much about Pick's disease. They couldn't give her any medication, not even for Alzheimer's, because it was too aggressive. They couldn't give her any dietary restrictions because they didn't know what to do. They even asked us if they could study her brain, which we didn't do after her passing, because she was such an anomaly, right? We had 7 doctors, neurologists trying to study her. She passed, and literally 3 weeks after we put her to rest, laid her to rest, someone shared with me this actual mushroom. I'm like, what? Why didn't I see this
A
before?
little
Why didn't
bit,
I hear
right?
about it? But I've come to learn to understand God ways in a sense. It wasn't for her. It was for me to share to other people.
Right.
She was the reason, my big why, my driving force. Because she was like on one of the matriarchs of our family. And learning this and growing through that and the challenges and grieving for her within that 3-week span of after she was laid to rest, I just wanted to know everything about this, because I'm sure I searched online, but it may have just passed my eye because my eyes were shielded from God. God said, nope. But then literally afterwards, I'm seeing everything everywhere. And I don't believe in coincidence. Everything has a time and a place, and that reason is to serve each and every one of us. So if
Right.
you're here on this platform and you're Anthony sharing this with you, he's opened up all of this as a way to teach you and to have information, and then you can share with others. Because this is how we create legacies, right? Create a legacy of health and wellness by making choices. And the reason I say that too is the last time I was in Dominica, I think it was 2017. That was the last trip with my mom. And we went Marigot. And I'm seeing young people, like younger than me, with an eye that's blind. People I've seen like 2 years before. People who have like terrible diabetes, kidney
The
failure, who have
amputations, yeah.
prostate.
Yeah.
I'm asking, what's going on? So the actual in the clinics, they try to build workshops, programs to build awareness, but there's such a pushback sometimes with our own people to say that I don't want to know. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to be proactive because I'm scared.
Right.
I don't want to go for that test if I think I have pain, in my lower region, in a sense, as a man. I don't want to go because I don't want to know what's going on. I'd rather avoid it. And sometimes, that's our worst thing to do because we are not proactive. And then when you actually go to the doctor, now it's too late.
Right.
So for me, it's, yes, I know there's doctors out there who can actually give you the most educated guess, but I've since learned that we are our best doctors, meaning that when we pay attention through observation of what's going on with our body and you journal it down, when you go to the doctor, you can say, "Doctor, this is what I'm feeling." You
Right.
know,
And this is yeah,
right,
the journaling part of it is very important.
very
Karen,
important.
I need to take a quick break, get some word from our
Okay,
sponsors, and we come back.
sure.
Folks, if you join us after we started, my guest tonight is Miss Carrie Joseph McLean, and she is a wellness, a healthier lifestyle entrepreneur, a mentor, a coach, and a co-author. And she's on with us tonight, talking to us about taking charge of our health, taking accountability for our health, and just generally what she's has pointed out most saliently is the importance of being aware. Be aware of your body when it's working properly, so that if it's not, then you would know that it's not. You know, and if there are parts of you that can work better, also be aware and to search for solutions with your doctor as well as with other healthcare practitioners. Let's get a word from the sponsors, and we'll be right back to continue our conversation with Miss Joseph McLean.
Presented by.
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Get ready for an electrifying thriller. A fearless New York attorney takes on corrupt corporate giants fighting for the powerless. Can this seasoned attorney and his team take down a monstrous company and its powerful leader? What will be the final verdict? What price will our heroes pay? Find out as you turn the pages of The Trust by Sam George. Get your copy of The Trust today from Amazon.com.
How much Dominican history do you know? Want to learn some fun facts? We have a great and fun way to test your knowledge and learn more about our history. Get your copy of Dominic Anu, Dominica in Puzzle. Fun for the whole family. Available now on Amazon.com. Visit pushpast10.com to learn more. Email us at dominicainpuzzle@gmail.com or call 877-698-9894.
A smart house run by a vengeful AI, a mute witness to an act of unspeakable evil. A breadfruit thief is haunted. A young man unwittingly creates a god. Giant crapos terrorize a community. A witch seeks revenge on her neighbors, and much more. The Piton Noir Writing Collective is thrilled to announce the release of the third book in their acclaimed anthology series, The Flying Crapo. Flying Crapo, Heroes and Monsters. Now available for purchase on Amazon.com. Get your copy today and embark on a journey filled with heroes, monsters, and the magic of the Caribbean.
Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
Hey y'all, I just discovered an amazing plugin called Joan, Jock on Air Now, for managing my radio station's on-air schedule. It keeps your visitors updated on what's playing and when their favorite hosts are live. Trust me, Joan is the best choice for your WordPress site. There's a free version available in the WordPress repository, and it's definitely worth trying. If you want even more features, Joan Premium lets you easily edit your schedule with just a click. No need to delete and re-add shows. Don't miss out on Joan. Get it now from the WordPress plugins repository, or visit the developers at gndenterprisesinc.com for more info.
G&D Enterprises Inc. Thank you for that sponsorship. To all our sponsors, actually. And folks, I always encourage you to check out Man's Audio Visual. They do all our graphic works for us at TDN, at This Week in Interview, and some of the other programs on TDN. This weekend, I was at Beacon Dental Health. Top quality dental work and service at Beacon Dental Health. If you are in the Boston area, you should check it out. I live in New York, and I go there for my dental service. They are my dental health care provider, and it's worth the drive up and back down. And so all our sponsors, actually, check out the books that are on there. Summer is coming, and you maybe have some more leisure time, or your kids are off school. Check out the books. Also, use those products as gifts. Let's support our own, and by getting some quality local products, and we can use it for birthday gifts and graduation gifts and Christmas gifts and all of the other. And just because I love you gifts, let's check it out. Thank you to the sponsors for helping us to be able to spread the message. And speaking of message, my guest tonight, Ms. Carrie-Ann Joseph McLean, is passionate about wellness, and her approach is really broken down to where it is bite-sized and digestible by any one of us lay people. She starts with mindfulness. And Carrie-Ann, you spoke about journaling.
Yes.
Let's take a couple of minutes and dive into that a little bit. Somebody who has never journaled and might imagine that it is a big, heavy undertaking. Just tell them what you mean by journaling.
So one of the things too as well, I like journaling, but some people may not, because the brain may associate it as another task. Because we all have all these things that we have to do in our head, and we either jot it down in our phone or we have it on our on paper, right? So one of the things that I do is, for example, I started a gratitude journal because I wanted to switch how I think. So as I get up in the morning, I have some water, and I start writing without lifting the pen. And I start writing what I'm grateful for. So because I've been doing that practice for some years, it was easier for me to switch over to journaling how I'm feeling. So what you could do, and I don't have a book here, but let's say you have a small book about like this size, roughly, just like this in my phone. You can have it in your purse, your wallet, in your car, and you keep it with you. So as you have throughout the day and you sort of observe certain things, you can just jot it down. Now, that's one way of doing journaling. Another way is through digital. You can actually have your notepad in your phone, and you can have, for in my case, I have a little stylus on my phone, and you can just have in your little notes, your journal for your day. And you can just practice it for like short periods of time. Because if you tell yourself 90 days or a year, because your mind has a start and end date. Because again, it associates with task, and if you think of a task, you don't want to do it, right? You deflect.
Right.
So I'd say start off with a 21-day challenge and go reverse engineer. So you're going to say 21 days in your calendar on your phone or on your actual paper calendar. Go back and say, okay, I'm going to break it down into bite size at 7-day cycles. And then if you do 7-day cycle, break it down into 3-day cycles. So you tell yourself for the next 72 hours, I'm going to journal what I eat, how much water I drink, if I exercise today. And you can label it anything. I call mine self-care time. You can say me time. If you say self-care time, the mind doesn't think I'm being selfish. But if you say me time, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have time for me to have all these things to do. And then 11 o'clock comes at night and you're sleeping. So if you call it something that you think like a project or a goal, and you give yourself short cycles, and if you can do this consistently for 21 days, you find that you can keep the momentum. But the thing is that if you go through a cycle of 3 days, 7 days, 21 days, and you break it, my way of encouraging you is not to be too hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't be overly critical because you missed today. Just pick up where you start and start another 3-day cycle until you get 21-day consistent. And that's how you're able to change and break a new habit. There's a book that I love to read and listen to. It's called Atomic Habit. There's one part I love, which is called habit stacking. Because we all have bad habits, right? So you maybe watch TV, watch Netflix, all that stuff. And I'm supposed to get up and go walking, but I'm too tired. I'm supposed to eat right. So the habit stacking is, okay, if I made one poor choice in my eating, I add a habit stack with a good choice in my meal. If I find that I'm watching too many things and I'm scrolling mindlessly, I said, okay, how can I habit stack? A habit stack is I'm going to go on my treadmill and still watch my stuff. And over time, you will put away with the bad habit, and then you consistently do the good habit. So that's all of tricking your brain by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the little tricks I think you can have in your little basket of, your arsenal, so to speak, of how you can switch to the healthier version of you.
Right.
So start journaling, do the activity. So plan, do, review, I like to call it. So you plan it, you do it, you review it.
You review it. Plan it,
every week.
Review it.
And then you can have an accountability partner with you too. The one that you know, like, and trust. Not someone who's going to take your business on the road and says, "Oh my God, Karen's doing all this stuff. Who does she think she is?" Right?
Embarrass you at dinner and say, "Oh, you think you're all that? You could not even journal for 3 days."
Exactly. Right. So you have someone you know, like, and trust. That's who you're going to have as your accountability partner.
Okay. Besides mindfulness, what else? I want to just delve into you and your activities. You say you're a mentor, you're a coach. Let's just talk about that, get folks familiar with what you do, but at the same time educating them. So if, for example, someone in the audience contacts you tomorrow, they send you a photo, they say, this is what I look like, and this is what I do, or this is what I would like to do. What would the experience like, you being a coach / mentor?
So for me, the mentor and coaching goes within our business and entrepreneur. So we have a platform where we actually help other people who want to become entrepreneur in this ecosystem. So there's a systematic way of doing that. So if you say, okay, I want to know more about what we do, I want to be able to help others in this capacity as well. So there's a system we have in place to help you that way. And so you can build your business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So we sort of engaging you step by step until you can, like an eagle, and let you soar, right? But the step is basically you can connect with us. We sort of do like a mini interview to understand where you are in your mindset, what you want to do. We don't want to make any assumptions. And then, okay, I want to have a switch to a healthier lifestyle. Now, would that mean that we would be able to help you in everything? Like, in tell you get up and to do and to mentor you that way to motivate you. No, you have to have a certain type of mindset and say, okay, I want to do this for myself. So what can I do? So we can guide you to a certain path as to what we want to help you with in your health and wellness journey through mentorship and coaching. We actually have a private Facebook group that we have for all of our customers. We sort of encourage them to do certain things as well as to have the recordings from our health and wellness, healthier lifestyle recordings for the health talk. So that's some of the things that we do for a customer part. For business part, we have things like Zooms. We have a plan, do, review meeting every Monday, sort of gauge where we're at to know if everyone's on track with what they have to do. And so that's the business aspect of it. So we don't blend the two because we keep them separate, right? We don't want to bombard people with business if they're not interested in doing an entrepreneurship, right? So that's one way. But we focus on the mentorship and coaching through health and wellness, the healthier lifestyle journey. And so we're still building on that as well because we want to have more type of initiatives where we can help people beyond just knowing about what we do in the way of the products we provide, is providing a safe environment that they know they can speak, they can share, ask questions, whether on one-on-one or collectively. And so that's what we're about, and that's what we want to have ongoing. That's the part with the mentorship and coaching. Now there's another part with for me with mentorship and coaching. I'm actually part of a women empowerment event that's happening May 31st here in Scarborough, Ontario, where I'm going to be a speaker on stage with individuals who, for example, there's one on womb alignment, one on psychotherapy, one on physical therapy, and healthier for myself, a healthier lifestyle. So I'm going to have also the products there as well to provide to people to taste and to get feedback. But events like that, doing wellness expos, is how we interact with people, build awareness, and then from there we take the next step of trying to help them with mentorship and coaching through their health journey.
Does that business operate in the US as well?
Yes. We have a few warehouses. So for us, we have a warehouse here in British Columbia. We have one in Nevada, one in Washington State, and then we have a couple in different countries as well. We have on the continent of Africa, we have Australia, New Zealand. We have a few places that we have able to serve people.
And what's the name of the company? What's the name of the product?
The name of the company is Organo.
Organo.
ORGNO. When you click on that QR code, it takes you there. It tells you all the information, all the products, as to what the ingredients are. And the one thing I love about it is we're very transparent. We have we worked with IBM we have IBM tracker that you can track where the ingredients came from by batches. So every product has a QR code, and we have a way to give back as well. So for example, you scan the QR code on the box, it takes you to where the product is from, the source, the ingredient. Also, you have the ability to give back to the farmers as well. So if you as a customer who want to give $2 tip to like a pool, then they will divvy it up with the farmers in that area because we get the products from different sources, right? But we make sure that we're ethically sourced. And we have over 36 certifications as well.
Right. And it's one product, it's a line of products.
Basically the one superfood in multiple products. And then there's a couple that have more than one superfood. So an example, if you ever heard of lion's mane, you ever heard of cordyceps or ganoderm or reishi, those are superfood mushrooms that are considered food supplements as well as medicinal. So they're on the two categories. So there's no known negative interaction with any medication to date. Right. So keep in mind, I'm not a health practitioner. I don't have any certification, but what I am is a health enthusiast. When I give information, facts, I go to credible sources. So for example, once you are able to be part of our health talk, everything that I display on my screen, I show you where the source comes from. So for example, I get documents from Harvard, from Yale, from public medical library, different places, but they're credible, not just going on Google and search. So that way you can go back now and you can challenge me to say, okay, this is what I have, this is what I've seen, let me go check the source and take my time and check it. And you can ask questions. Can we have Q&A at the end? But I just want to mention one thing to you. The reishi stuff is not just about, the superfood is not just about the immune system. It has been proven to be anti-HIV, anti-malaria, anti-depression, anti-stress, helps with your cognition, helps with your mental health, people with ADHD, autism, ADD, dementia. It helps with inflammation in the body. It also helps with prostate health, and many, many things, including diabetes and kidney and liver. So there's so many different conditions that it's been known to improve over time that it's that we can spend here hours and discuss it, but I just want to bring that to your attention for those who are listening as well.
Right. And so folks can scan the QR code. I also saw Sam put the link up as well. And that way they can visit your business and see what that product is. So the wellness and the healthier lifestyle is centered around that product that uh, help you to condition your body and your mind so that you can do the rest of the stuff that you need
Exactly.
to do.
Right.
Okay.
Because, we go through different stages in life, right? And so health impacts us, health and wellness at some stage in our life. If we're not mindful of what we're doing, it can be a detriment.
Right. You also mentioned carry by design. Is that what you call it?
Oh yeah, so for many, many, many years, I used to do a lot of decor for my family and friends, and I kept putting it off because project management, it takes a lot out of you, and the hours aren't that stable, so to speak, because you're doing 12 1-hour days. So I started doing that, and then when I got divorced from my corporate job, I call it divorce because they gave me alimony. Um, my niece called me one day, and it was a destination wedding, and she asked me to do her wedding for her in St. Lucia. And this is how God works, and I don't believe in coincidence. Someone from the reception, she introduced me. She goes, "Oh, my aunt did this and my aunt did that." She goes, "You did that?" She goes, "What's your Instagram?" I don't have one. What's your business? I don't have one. And I don't know the lady's name. I don't remember what she looks like. She goes, "If you don't do this, I will never talk to you again." So I said, "Okay." And sort of put like a whisper in my head. And so it's been now 4 years now, and I do decor, I do rentals, I set up something like an event coordinator, like a project management in that field. So I do catering as part of that because it's a one-stop shop. And so that's my other business. It's called Kimai, Kimyi by Design. I do have an Instagram page as well on that, and I have
Say
a
it
website.
slower,
But
say the name slower.
I'm sorry, Kimai, Kimyi by
K Y
Design,
K Y M.
MYI by Design, and it's on Instagram. It's not in the QR link because it's separate. But
Right.
if you want to look me up on Instagram, I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do this. I do destination as well as local, from catering to setup, tear down. I have staffing as well on that, so that also is part of that business.
Okay.
And that's
It could
something I just sort of transitioned into,
happen
so to
into,
speak.
right? You cannot get away from project management.
No, I love doing it. So it's like for me, it's like second nature.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like work. That's why I love it.
What else about healthier life? Well, I haven't asked you about the book Stronger Resilience. Let's talk about that before I let you run free.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I can talk about that. No problem.
let's go. Tell me. You say it turned out to be one of Amazon, a bestseller on Amazon.
Yeah, so but just before COVID, just before my mom had her second stroke, which left her bedridden, I've always wanted to write, but I never found the time. And that's why I started writing on my
Hmm.
computer, like typing, and I saved it, I archived it. Then and again, like I mentioned to you, there's always a clue in everything. It's always some sign. And I had a friend. Her husband's a minister, and she ministers through song. And I hadn't spoken to her in about maybe 3-4 years, and she called me. She goes, "Carrie Ann, I was praying, and your face popped up into my mind." I go, "Huh? Okay, all right." She goes, "I'm writing this book. It's a compilation of books, and I'd like you to be one of the authors." And I said yes. So I didn't even have to draft anything; it was already written in my computer. And so basically, I'm just sharing, trauma, because
Hmm.
most people go through trauma in different ways, and I went through some trauma. And I was from a teenage up until I was 18. And I sort of spoke about forgiveness because that's also part of your health journey, letting go and sort of realizing because my father wasn't part of my life growing up. My mom was my mom and my dad. And I had to learn to sort of release it through meditation and prayer. Because you don't know what's actually causing your illness if you have unforgiveness in your heart, if you don't let
Okay.
go. So I was invited to be one of the authors, as multiple authors, and I was able to share a bit of my story in there. And we became Amazon bestseller for that year. And it's called Stronger Resilience. And so Pat Russell is the one who did the compilation, and I was one of the co-authors. So it's no longer, I don't believe it's on Amazon right now, but it's available for sale through email. You can email and I didn't put my email into that link, but I can share that with you for those who want to reach out. It's RICHTREE1, so richtree1 at gmail.com.
RICHTREE
TREE, the number one, at gmail.com.
at Gmail. Okay.
Yeah. So the premise was in my mind, and through my dad's passing in 2017, it had to be that I was, and again, timing, it had to be where I was transitioned from my job. I got to travel because in that world of project management, you can't really get time off with the active project going, especially with different agile testing. And so month by month, we're testing multi-million-dollar projects, and for you to get like a week or two off, it's very hard. So it happened that way. Went to Dominica, spent 2 weeks. My father was not doing well. Decided to just hop over to Antigua. And once I was in transition, his wife called and said he passed. Okay, went there. I was the only one there. First time traveling 20 years by myself. Traveled to Antigua, spent 3 days, and for some reason, the tears wouldn't stop coming. I wasn't bawling. The tears wouldn't stop. And I was at the cemetery, and then okay, that's kind of weird. Why am I crying so much? And then I went home on the plane coming to Toronto. I keep asking myself, why was I crying? What's the reason? And I left it alone. Fell asleep, and as soon as we landed, the answer came. And the answer was, my father didn't love me enough to value me. How can the world value me? And that's some of the premise of the book. And I'm actually going to be writing more, but that was the basis why I decided to put my thoughts on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of us want to be valued. We look for external validation. I've come since found out that my only source of validation is God, right? Everyone can say good job, Carrie, and bad job, Carrie Ann, but that's not where my validation comes from anymore. I had to learn that. But God had to isolate me for that, be able to write those words down so I can now share that with you.
And so that publication, what you are one contributor to
One of many
a
authors who
collection,
contributed to the book, yeah.
but I feel like there is one coming out with just you.
I'm actually going to start working towards the end of the year on one. And the thing that actually inspires me in sharing stories is that I've given myself permission to be able to share my story with others. Because many of us, we have a story to tell within and we hold it in because we're afraid of what
Right.
people will think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can share without fear of judgment or criticism, and you just share your heart with people, you're going to connect heart to heart, spirit to spirit. And that's how you can resonate with someone. So when I share about health, I share a testimony, people share testimony with me in the health and wellness aspect, and I can actually have that translate into my book. Then that way I can touch more lives and also change how people see trauma that they go through when they're younger or even they're going through now. Right. So the art of forgiveness is a powerful thing, especially through meditation, and because I've learned how to do that. It can be very, it's like you've done a 360 with your spirit. Like you feel like you're eternally at peace because you've released all those things, because those unforgiveness can actually manifest into illness.
Right. Okay. So just for your information, Sam is excellent at guiding authors to all the way through publication. So
Awesome.
so
Thank you,
that
Sam, in advance.
as you think about your your project,
Yes.
make sure that he's available. What is it that you call? I am volunteering him. No, no, but
Is
seriously,
voluntold? Is
we
voluntold?
do, yep, volunteer. You know, we, we actually involved in helping authors with their
That's great.
production. All right.
Thank you.
So we are right at an hour and 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I don't know if we've covered everything that you wish to share.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
let you
so.
free.
For those of you, well, like I said, for those of you who are in the Scarborough, Toronto, or Etobicoke area, and you'd like to sort of meet me one on one, or if you'd like to sort of come to an event that can empower women, not just women, but overall, anyone who's interested in empowerment, we do have an event coming up on May 31st here in Scarborough, where we have speakers on the speaking about health in different areas, and I'll be one of the speakers. And of course, what I spoke about and what you'll see in the health talks, you'll be able to taste at the event as well.
Okay. So
So that I can provide more details if you email me or message me.
certainly. And the email is richtree, RICHTREE,
One.
one
Hmm.
at gmail.com.
Or you can send a request or direct message through Facebook. My name is spelled the same way as you see it on your screen.
Awesome. Didi Easter says, I am of the firm belief that there is a book inside all of us. Very
Yeah.
inspiring and interesting discussion. I agree. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I know we just scratched the surface because I can tell there's so much more bubbling just underneath the surface.
Yeah.
With your wellness, and you have an excellent way of presenting it in a format that we feel like we can just do that. Oh yeah, I can get up in the morning and just go walking. I can walk for half an hour. I can journal. All I need is a notebook and a pen, and just write my thoughts down. Keep track of what's happening. How did I spend my morning? What did I do? What did I not do? What I intended to do and I didn't get to do it, or what I got done plus more. Just basically making notes to yourself, because
Yeah.
sometimes we're so sure that when we're in the moment that this is something important, and then 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, we're sitting there and we completely forget about that.
Yeah.
But if you're in the habit
Yeah.
of journaling, you can flip
Mhm.
back through your notebook and relive
Yeah.
those moments, those instructive
Actually,
moments.
there's a tip too. There's a app called Otter, Otter, I think,
Hmm.
and it converts voice to text. It's a free app, and so if you were to just speak into it to say, this is what I'm having, it converts it and it puts it as a note in your phone.
Okay, that's
I
excellent.
think
That's an
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, 'cause when
Yeah.
I'm doing my conferences and I'm out of pen and paper, I go okay, and it records and converts it to text. I think it's Otter, I think it's called. Yeah.
OTTER.
Yeah,
Awesome. Okay.
I think it's on Google. Yeah, I think this is called Otter. Otter.
Yeah, folks
Don't quote,
can
don't,
Google that and
don't quote
find
me on
out.
that.
But
You'll
they can
misspell
Google
me.
and find out an app that converts voice to text.
Yeah, yes, Otter is correct. I just double checked it. Yeah,
Okay.
it transcribes as a note taker. Yeah.
All right. Great.
All
So
right.
I want to say thank you for making the time to be with us tonight and for so generously sharing your information and your passion. And
Thank
I
you for
also want
having
to
me.
wish you all the best, you and your husband and your business, both of your businesses,
Thank you.
your design business, your events planning and organization and management business, as well as your health business, where you get to share so much knowledge and you get to impact the lives of folks around you. Although it came from you suffering a loss, it might make it easier for or avert others from having the same experience. So
Yeah.
we are grateful. We are grateful for that. So I'm going to give you a opportunity to say a few final closing remarks, and we'll bring this conversation to a close.
So I just want to share to every person who's watching here. When you think of self-care, think of these things. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are able and you are capable. So if you have dreams and goals you want to aspire to, anything is possible once you put your mind to it. So if you can achieve your goals and dreams, or you're in the process of doing that, you can actually achieve your health goals, your spiritual goals, your physical goals, your mental health, all of that if you plan according to what you desire without feeling overwhelmed. There's a saying I like to tell people: if someone I'm taking a step and someone tries to make me feel guilty, I tell them I don't do guilt trips. So if you can practice that and practice your best and highest version of yourself, and you give yourself many rewards in the process, you will feel so empowered. And I guarantee you, once you start taking that step, your mind is going to have a shift in the way you think, meaning that you can think you can do anything. That means you can pursue your goals and your dreams because you're living your highest and best version of yourself. So be empowered to know that, again, you are deserving, you are worthy, you are able, and you're certainly capable. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time, and we appreciate it.
An awesome place to leave it. And thank you. As I said, I wish you all the best. And you have to come back because
I will.
wellness is a favorite topic of ours right here.
Same here. Same here. I'd be more than honored to be a part of this discussion. I look forward to the future conversations we're gonna have.
All
Thank you,
right. Thank
Sam. Thank
you.
you, Anthony. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. And thank you,
Bye
of
for
course,
now.
the team who organized it, Ella and Sam. Thank you guys so much. And audience, there you have it, another wonderful conversation. I am so lucky in this position as the host of this weekend interview because I get to have conversations with folks who have so much passion, so much skill, so much experience in what they do, and I get to through them hopefully impact your life because I can talk to you about a healthier lifestyle without me being the expert in healthy living. I can talk to you about making sure that we just start. We're halfway into April, so we're in the second quarter of 2025. Have you done your prostate exam? Have you done your female gynae exams? Have you done your just go to see your doctor, get your some blood work, check your pressure, check your blood sugar, just be aware and concerned of where your body is. Have you watched a video or read a book or listened to a podcast about health? Have you educated yourself on supplements or vitamins? Our guest tonight spoke about a product that they have that she says has tremendous impact on potential impact on our well-being and our vigor, our energy. So check it out. Do your own research, but start somewhere. Health is so important. You can pursue everything. You can go to work and work three jobs because you want to raise your kids. But if you don't have the health and you die early, or you're incapacitated, or you're not as vigorous, you're not there to continue raising your kids or taking care of your loved ones. And that's what I liked about this conversation is tell yourself, in her closing remarks, I'm going to paraphrase, Carrie says, tell yourself that you are deserving of self care and then implement that self care regime. Get into good habits. A time to wake up in the morning, habits like walking, watch what you eat, just set some goals. If you know you're not on the ideal weight, set some goals to lose 5 pounds. I don't know, whatever it is that you have to do to have that healthier life. Let's do it. And so, folks, I want to tell you good night. I want to remind you that yesterday was Earth Day. If you did not do and if you did not show the Earth kindness yesterday, do something this week to make up for it. All right. So yesterday was Valentine's Day for the Earth. If you didn't give the Earth a Valentine gift, make sure you do that before the end of the week and mark April 22nd on your calendar next year so that you won't be caught by surprise when we say that it is Earth Day. Thank you so much for participating. Those of you in the chat, as usual, the usual suspects. Um, Didi Easter and Soaps and all the others. Thank you for joining us. And the weather is brilliant in most parts, with some evening and early morning coolness and decent temperatures in the middle of the day. It is perfect. So get out, go out, take a walk, sit in the sun, listen to the birds, sit down under a tree, whatever it is that you have to do. Do something that brings you joy and pleasure. So, good night, everyone, and we'll see you again next week, Wednesday, for another episode of This Week in Interview. Good night.